The Fool in Maquillage, Excerpt 2. It was well past twilight when Fiala tried as silently as possible to slip from the covers and put bare feet on the cold stone floor. Horace had come in late and, while still in his garnered jerkin and trousers, fallen into the stateroom bed that had been provided them. She had no fear that he would awake at this hour. He had drank of the king's chalice and fell asleep, not only intoxicated by the court's wine, but also of its power and malfeasance. She quickly pulled the small trunks she had been using as undergarments and wrapped a shawl about her breasts. This shall do, she thought, for Romeo would be less receptive than she in this current adornment. Fiala sipped the iron latch and made quickly around the door's concave entrance into the hallway, making note to stop short of the small creak she noted earlier that the pine had gave at its full breadth. Wincing at the sound of latch finding once again its comfortable embrace within the jamb, she turned and, with eagle eyes in the brazier haze, navigated the passage of the upper chambers. A slight rapping, and Romeo was hardly startled. He had been sobbing in the corner farthest from the rounded steel hulk the courtier had given him as a wood stove. His was a chamber so far in the southeast corner that it wasn't adorned with a proper fireplace, for there was no flue made this deep or adjacent in the castle walls. He was given a meek bed, wash basin, personal stand, and makeshift coal pit, which even now burned the meager pensive wood he was given each night to serve as warmth and alumina. The room stank of resin and burning elm, as it always did. Little price to pay for a bit of heat and light to practice the art by. Fiala slid herself into the room and shut the door behind her with a subtle squeak. She could see Romeo hunkered in the corner and knew that the night's festivities, or abuses, depending on which viewpoint you had humored, had taken their toll. She wanted to reach to him then, at that moment, this small, silent man with flowing red hair and tailor's polish running down his cheeks like a weeping baroness. His face was still adorned in the motley version of a fool's maquillage, white on one half and checkered black on the other. High cheekbones and deeply blue, sunken eyes, doing nothing to belie the visage. This man, whom only hours earlier had juggled a sordid amount of objects laden with fire and oil. This man, only hours earlier, had told of Terence the Third, his brazen female conquests in light manner. This man, whom only hours earlier had made quite the jest of the court royalty. This man, whom only hours earlier had bore the brunt of a drunken Horace's appeal to seem more the autocratic by forcing Romeo to fall victim to his good-natured physical aberrations. Romeo, all these actions are disturbed, and there must be another way for you to find acquiescence within His Majesty's favor, Fiala hissed through her own clished teeth, truly affected by the evening's accord, as, lady can be wont. Disturbed? He muttered quietly under his breath. Disturbed. This time a voice far more poignant and shrill than Romeo had felt he was capable of at the moment. Let me tell of disturbed, her duchess, he continued. Your lord made of me tonight the 1,000 lashes that any man shouldn't bear. But I do. And why? If only for these are my lashes alone to have. I am here for servitude, and in that so far as the court demands. I please, and I juggle, and I commiserate laughter and frolic. I am not one here placed to decide what is and isn't an action bearing the semblance of insanity. But, Romeo, you must see the freedom in some of the... She started, but Romeo was not to hear such pandering, as he lay quivering against the cold stone wall and interjected. Freedom? There is no freedom here. And as he screamed this, he grabbed the small squire knife that he had used to upend wine bottles from the table and quickly slid it across the top of his arm, which resulted in 2 shocking crimson parallels. With fervor it instantly started to issue blood. This is my freedom, for I can and will that which beats in this heart no sooner nor later than what is required of these men who sit on holy stools and proclaim they demand of someone these things one would not give freely.